Hi, I'm Anthony Longo, and today I will be teaching you the advanced functions concept, understanding rates of change. I will be using question 14 on page 117, unit 2 of understanding rates of change. My question is as shown. 14a. Use graphing technology to graph f at x equals x to the exponent 4 minus 2x to the exponent 2. B. Use the graph to estimate the locations of the maximum and minimum values of this function. C. Explain how tangent lines can be used to verify the locations you identified in part B. And D. Confirm your estimates by using the maximum and minimum operations on the graphing calculator. To start question 14a, I will be using the graphing technology of Desmos to graph f. However, even before using Desmos, I know that this graph is going to have even symmetry and 2 bounces on the points. The reason I know this is because the exponents are even. Earlier on in this unit, we learned that even and odd exponents have different laws associated with them. Question B. Estimating the minimum and maximum values of this graph. The maximum value is infinity due to the graph going into an infinite direction to the x value and the y value. However, the local maximum I would estimate to be 0 and the local minimum -1 and 1. The reason I would estimate those values for the minimum and maximum is because while looking at the graph, you can see that the graph ends at -1, 1, and 0. So those are all estimates around those numbers. For question 14c, explain how tangent lines can be used to verify the locations you identified in part B. For people who don't know, a tangent line touches a curve at a point without crossing over. Formally, it is a line which intersects at a differentiable curve at a point where the slope of the curve equals the slope of the line. Now for this graph, the slopes of the tangent lines for points to the left of the minimum will be negative. Now the points to the right of the minimum will be positive. Now for the tangent lines for points to the left of the maximum, they will be positive, and the points to the right of the maximum will be negative. The reason I know this is true is because as you look at the graph, you can see that there are only 4 points where a tangent line can be present. On those points, you can see that it must be negative in 2 and positive in 2. Now for our final question, 14d. Confirm your estimates by using the maximum and minimum operations on the graphing calculator. Now, as you can see in the graph above, after using the graphing calculator, my estimates were correct. The maximum at 0 and the minimum at -1 and 1. This maximum and minimum operation on the graphing calculator helps provide exact numbers for the maximum and minimum values at -1, -1, 0, 0, and 1, -1. Therefore, my estimates were correct, with my points being -1, 1, and 0. And the tangent line showed that we were going to have both positive and negative answers in this equation. We were now asked to find careers that use this kind of math in their everyday job. I found that economics data scientists, research scientists, and data scientists all use this kind of trending to help them in their everyday jobs. These careers use similar kinds of math that I have just showed you, because it helps them identify trends shown on graphs. Trends will help these scientists predict data and benefit their line of work. For example, an economic scientist will look at the housing market today and see that it is at an all-time high. However, an economic scientist will look back on the trends at graphs and see that the housing market has been at a point like this in the past. Now, the economic scientist can now determine how long this trend will last and what to do in the future for the economy. Identifying trends and reading graphs are the most important things in the business world. Thank you for listening, and hopefully you learned more about rates of change.